Сюда ко мне! Сюда ко мне! Сюда ко мне! Сюда! Быстро!
Слава полку Азов!
Ноги целые, старый.
Units of the Ukrainian Azov Brigade have reportedly launched a counter-operation against Russian forces who had previously captured parts of Ukrainian territory around Donetsk and Kostiantynivka, Donetsk Oblast. Several battlefield reports indicate that Azov has conducted tactical maneuvers that have placed Russian forces under pressure and threatened isolation in several sectors of the front line.
Сюда ползи! На пол! На пол! Ползи!
Быстро, быстро, быстро сюда! Сюда!
Швидше!
This region holds high strategic value as it serves as a vital link between several Ukrainian defense points in central Donetsk. Russian forces were previously reported to have advanced and captured parts of the area through sustained pressure. However, these advances are now facing stiff resistance from Ukrainian units, particularly the Azov Brigade. In continued operations, Azov forces are reportedly not only blocking Russian supply and movement routes, but also combing residential areas and buildings used as temporary defense points. During one such search, Ukrainian forces reportedly discovered several Russian troops trapped inside a building, allegedly after their retreat route was cut off by pressure from multiple directions. The presence of Russian troops inside the building demonstrates the direct impact of Azov's encirclement tactics. Russian units that have advanced too far are reportedly struggling to execute a coordinated withdrawal, forcing them to seek refuge in civilian structures or industrial buildings to maintain their positions.
Давай. Раз, два, три.
Ukrainian sources indicate that this operation aims not only to recapture territory, but also to gradually weaken Russia's fighting power, forcing its units to defend themselves in isolated conditions with minimal logistical support. The Corps Command expressed gratitude to the soldiers of the 1st Corps of the National Guard of Ukraine, Azov, the 12th Special Forces Brigade Azov, and the 14th Operational Brigade Chervona Kalina, the 4th Operational Brigade Rubizh, the airborne assault troops and assault units of the armed forces of Ukraine for their contribution. Russian attempts to send reinforcements or open an exit route in this sector are reportedly facing serious obstacles due to Ukrainian artillery pressure and drone surveillance. The fighting around Donetsk and Kostiantynivka now reflects the changing nature of the conflict in Donetsk, where maneuver warfare, control of small areas, and control of logistics routes are becoming the determining factors. If pressure from the Azov Brigade continues, this sector has the potential to become a crucial point in the latest developments in the fighting in eastern Ukraine. In another nearby sector, the fighting pressure reportedly continued to escalate. Several Russian armored vehicles and tactical vehicles were reportedly attempting to break through into territory recaptured by Ukrainian forces in an attempt to assist their comrades trapped by the previous encirclement maneuver. According to battlefield reports, the Russian vehicle movement was hasty and high risk. Small convoys reportedly moved through alternative routes including secondary roads and open areas, with the aim of opening emergency corridors for isolated Russian units around Donetsk and Kostiantynivka. This effort demonstrated the urgency of the Russians to prevent the collapse of their pinned-down positions. However, the breakthrough attempt met stiff resistance from Ukrainian forces. The area targeted by the Russian vehicles was reportedly under Ukrainian drone surveillance, allowing for early detection and rapid response. precision artillery fire and FPV drone strikes were reportedly directed at the vehicle's movement paths, making the Russian maneuver increasingly difficult and operationally costly. Ukrainian sources believe that this breakthrough attempt further demonstrates the logistical and coordination pressures facing Russian forces. Instead of successfully opening a relief route, several vehicles were forced to retreat or stop moving due to the threat of air and ground attacks. This situation further limited Russia's options for assisting its isolated units. Developments in this sector confirm that the battle is no longer linear. Encirclement, opening supply lines, and cutting off enemy movement are now key elements of the battle in central Donetsk. If Russian breakthrough attempts continue to fail, pressure on their encircled units is expected to increase in the coming days. Amid the failure of several breakthrough attempts, the intensity of fighting around the intersectoral linkages has escalated. Ukrainian forces have reportedly reinforced their positions at key points, particularly at road intersections, railway lines, and open areas where Russian vehicles could potentially advance. Combat sources reported that Russian forces are attempting to shift their movement patterns, moving away from clear convoys and instead moving in small, spaced-out units. This strategy is intended to reduce the risk of drone detection and to find gaps in Ukrainian defenses. However, this approach has actually slowed the pace of reinforcements and made coordination between units more difficult. Meanwhile, Ukrainian forces, including the Azov unit, are reportedly utilizing their superior aerial surveillance capabilities to maintain pressure. Any movement of Russian vehicles or troop concentrations is immediately met with suppressive fire, forcing them to take cover or halt their advance. This situation has further isolated the encircled Russian units, both physically and in terms of communications. Furthermore, reports indicate that some Russian units trapped in buildings or enclosed positions are running low on basic supplies, including ammunition and medical equipment. This situation is increasing the psychological burden on troops and narrowing their tactical options. Holding ground is considered only temporary, while attempts to break out are increasingly risky. These developments indicate that the battle in the Pokrovsk-Kostiantynivka sector has entered the exhaustion phase. Not only is firepower being tested, but also the ability to maintain supply lines, communications, and troop morale. If Ukrainian pressure remains consistent and Russian aid lines continue to be cut off, the situation in this sector could potentially become a significant operational disadvantage for Moscow.